All right, welcome in. Welcome back to the BFR podcast presented by Sports Mockery. My name is Dave. Cover the Bears for SM. I'm joined by my good friend, Chicago Bears content creator Ficky, and of course, we have our producer Jack on the sticks, and also going to be giving his opinion here on this post-game show. Very similar to the what is this? Is this nine games in a row we lost?
Nine.
So it's going to be very similar to the other 8. However, just a little bit different because there is actually some good stuff I think that came out of this game that we'll get to. Before we do, Vicky, Jack, how you doing, man? Or men? How you doing,
yeah,
men?
I'm doing all right. It's funny because my girlfriend, who's obviously watched me watch 9 years of this team, right, has seen the ups and downs, mostly downs, right? But she's like, I almost feel I actually would rather you be angry than like the disappointment and despair, because you watch it, right? After the first quarter, I don't know how you guys felt. I was watching with my mom, and I was like, they're going to lose by 40, right? And this is before they even got 20-0. I was deep down inside. I was like, they're going to lose by 40. Luckily, that didn't happen, but like it's just kind of like that self-acceptance where we're at now. We talked about on the pregame show. We talked about it after every postgame show. We're kind of just like, look, this team's horrible. This team sucks. It finds ways to lose, and they do that. So a lot more, and we'll get to it, and I'll let Jack give his thoughts here, a lot more positivity in this one that we saw, specifically with Caleb Williams. But as a whole, this team it may not win another game. And we said that like 4 games ago. So,
yeah, I said that. Jack, I'm going to let you go because I have kind of a rant here, but I'll let you go, Jack. How are you feeling after this one, man?
I feel better than I thought I would. Like, I think we all knew going into this, there's a very, very slim chance that the Chicago Bears win this football game. So, like, when you have that low expectations anyways, but then you see good things like Caleb really balled out, and we'll get into it later. Like, he looked really good for the most part. Keenan looked awesome, too, which he totally gave me the finger for me saying he was the biggest disappointment of the year.
That's funny. That. Right after that. Yeah, he watches the show, so.
Yeah, he does, and he hates me now. Him and DJ. Me and the wide receivers do not get along. We do not get along. I like them all, but like we are not seeing eye to eye on the season. But no, overall, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
There was before I get into my kind of give my rant real quick, I want to talk about DJ more because there was a play. I'm going to go back on the, and rewatch this game, maybe pull it from all 22, but I think it was the shot that Caleb took one-on-one at the end of the game, kind of like 3 minutes left. Was it Branch on the corner, the Lions corner? And he just got bodied, dude.
It was Arnold.
Arnold, yeah, thank you. Yep. Arnold. And I just was like, dang, dude, like, I know DJ's a little smaller, but it didn't look like a fair fight, as far as like DJ going to kind of go at the top, at the peak of the ball, trying to grab it. I was like, I feel like as a wide receiver one, you got to give a little bit better of an effort there. Or not effort, you like to see maybe a little bit closer, or at least all things considered, make that play, for your quarterback. But it's like he just got outplayed. And I was just like, And a lot of the things that kind of come to mind is I think it was the QB school over there talking about how he's not really a true wide receiver one. And I'm like, that's not the first instance this year where I'm like, is he? Is he a true, like, almost like a St. Brown? Because St. Brown today, unbelievable.
The thing is, though, they don't have St. Brown running a corner fade because that's not St. Brown's body type.
But if he did, I think St. Brown, he's just more physical, though.
I think he's going to go. I think DJ made those catches last year, so I'm not like too concerned. I mean, he did. He had some corner ones. I remember the Atlanta game, right, where Fields went nuts. He had 2 of them in the back of the corner like that. So you're like, okay, DJ. Yeah. I think this year has just been there probably get some mental with it, but it's just been a shit show from day one that I'm surprised. To be fair, like from even all the wide receivers, like right now they all have over 700 yards. I'm surprised any of them have gotten to that point if you were to look at how bad this offense has been, like on a grand scale. So,
yeah. No, you're fair. I guess the regression overall is just, you can look at the defense to DJ.
Oh my God, that's the worst one.
The defense is nuts. But I want to talk about this game a little bit, kind of because there's 2 things that are just it's such a frustrating loss, but at the same time, I think this was such a good audition for Caleb, for Ben Johnson, who was of course the OC, the leading candidate to be the Bears head coach next year, because I think everything that kind of matters was one, Caleb having a good game. We all think he probably did that. I know we'll take a look at, Caleb in depth here in a minute, but at the same time, Ben Johnson showed that, he's worth every penny. There's a possibility he may flop, but at the same time, he is just so good, so creative. He had that fake play where he had, which I don't think is legal. I think they're going to get, I think that's going to be, I think they're going to be like, hey, I don't think you can do this because Jamar Gibbs, he just did like a somersault, fell
yeah,
down.
he basically acted like he was going for the fumble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was honestly hilarious.
snap.
And then you have Jared Goff, like honestly, stumbling, which it almost got me for splits. Like in real time, I was like, this looks fake. You know, like it almost got me, but right away I was like, I don't think it was just, it's very, very impressive. It's almost like he has that luxury right now where he can kind of make those like FU type plays where he's throwing hooking ladders and everything like now because the Lions are won now with 13-2 or something like that. So I think the Ben Johnson, and Caleb pairing just makes so much more sense. It was clear really halfway through the season, especially at that first matchup in Detroit where you saw some of the things that Ben Johnson was able to do. He's a genius. He's almost like an evil genius, honestly. He's got a lot of confidence. And at the same time, Caleb, I think this is what you wanted out of him. He showed Ben Johnson once again in real time on the sideline how good he really is. And I know Jared Goff had a great day as well, but I think Caleb Williams, the way that he was able to, the number of things he was able to do when they were outmatched, right, against the Detroit Lions is pretty impressive. And at the same time, the penalties are really what killed Caleb. It wasn't even the Lions defense really, because he didn't get sacked all the way up till like late in the fourth. But at the same time,
gave up 2.
Yeah, and now they weren't giving up sacks, but it was like the right guard penalty, false start penalty. It was crazy.
You have another 2 starters falling off the line again. You got Braxton Jones barely played any of the game. Tevin Jenkins got injured again. Like this offensive line throughout the season already didn't have like the highest quality caliber at starters. And then we've seen throughout the season, we've had second and thirds. And like, I'm surprised. It makes sense why Caleb's been sacked 59 times just based off that alone.
More than that, right?
I think
in the 60s.
Is he 60 now?
Oh, I think he's in like 64 or something like that.
No, I don't think is it that high? I can't remember. Either way, why he's been sacked as high as he's been sacked, either way, that's too much, right? Why you're leading the league in sacked, it makes sense when you just look at who is on the offensive line or lack thereof because of injury.
So he got sacked once today?
I think twice. Once or twice.
I think it was, I don't know if it was once or twice. If it was twice, he's at 60. If it was once, he's at 59. So it just depends on how they.
Either way, the offensive line, it makes sense. That has to be, and we sound like a broken record. I get it. I'm sorry, guys out there, and ladies, but that has to be your number one priority, right? When it comes to roster rebuilding, it doesn't matter what quarterback you have back there, getting sacked over 40 times is crazy. Getting sacked over 50. There's still 2 more games left. They have a possibility. I think next in line is Bryce Young at 63. I think that's second highest ever by a rookie quarterback. And then number 1, which we won't get to, thank God, is David Carr in the Houston Texans back when he played in like 2001. And that was 73 sacks. So we don't want to see that at all because we don't want the shock. I think Caleb, though, we'll talk about him, but I think Caleb, it's not like affecting him as much as what we saw with like Fields, where it's like he's not seeing the field well or worry about getting hit. But you don't want to see that back-to-back for your quarterback. So you really have to make sure you give him enough time to make his reads. So it'll be interesting, though.
Yeah.
Twice? Okay.
I think, so 60. So he's been sacked 60 times this year. That's crazy. But I think Caleb put it best that he just met with the media. He said, we did a lot of good things today. We also did a lot of bad things. And I think that's just the season, honestly, in a nutshell. So many a lot of good things, probably, for sure, a lot more bad when you kind of add it all up. So sure. I want to take a look at Caleb. I don't know if you have kind of
I got it.
Any graphics first. Let's pull that up.
Let's take his recap real quick, if you don't mind, Jack. All right. So Caleb Williams here finished today 26 for 40 attempts, right? 26 for 40. That's not bad. Actually, there was a couple, that added to that at the very end because he threw a couple incompletions just trying to get that final touchdown drive there where he had 3 misses at the end. But he ended up with 334 passing yards. Great to see. That's his we'll have to look at it here. I think that's his 3rd or 4th 300-yard game. So that's crazy, right? That's great to see. Touchdowns 2. Also, which is very important, is interception 0. I think he's now at like 300 plus passing attempts without throwing a interception, and that is the NFL's longest active streak right now. He had rushing yards of 34, which is timely ones, right? Getting through the pocket, going through his reads, nothing there, avoiding a couple sacks here and there and getting out of the pocket. And then, of course, he had a very high QBR of almost 108. So, I mean, overall, the day at the office, you got to say Caleb balled out. You would like to have one more touchdown, I think, especially at the end, but he did everything that he possibly could with a beaten up line, a run game that was non-existent, and, turnovers that happened that, had put the team in a bad spot, especially early on in that first quarter. So
I think today was very, very good. I was like, what are we doing here? So I think when it comes to Caleb Williams, because it's so weird. Oh, as I almost throw my mic here, it's so weird how we kind of hear how he's talked about, maybe just on socials, because like you would think he's like you'd think he's almost like Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf, that type of player, when he's having a really, perhaps one of the best Bears seasons ever.
Oh, no question. Right now, he's
stats.
He's 6 yards away. Not even rookie. He's 6 yards away. I know there's more games now than compared to when they played, Jay Cutler days, but he's 6 yards away from having a top 5 passing yards season in Chicago Bears history. 6 yards away from being top 5. That puts him in company with Jay Cutler, obviously Eric Kramer, who's number 1, and a couple other people in there.
Well, Jay Cutler's on there 4 times or 3 times.
3 times. Yeah, and he's about to pass Cutler for 5. And Cutler has 4, 3.
He's 6th right now. So he'll get that. He needs 6 more yards, like you said. He also, another fun fact, there's only 2 quarterbacks that have thrown for multiple touchdowns passes against the Detroit Lions. One is Josh Allen. The other is Caleb Williams, and he's done it twice now.
Twice. Yeah.
So, all things considered, I don't know what more you want from Caleb anymore. Like I almost like, do you want to even play him the final 2 games? I know every rep matters, but at the same time, it's like, man.
If it wasn't the Packers the last game, I think there's something about that where he's going to want to play. Like if you can beat the Packers,
if they played, that's the thing where you wish it comes at, like maybe they play the Packers next week. And you can rest in that final game, but it's like, dang, it's kind of flip-flopped. So I think you're right there, Fake.
Yeah, you can't rest him and then play him. I know he's going to want to play against the Packers. Like that's the whole thing, is to try to beat Green Bay. And you had the opportunity last time, which is crazy. So
can I bring this up real quick?
Yeah, good.
Caleb Williams, since we're kind of talking about him, so he hasn't thrown his interception in his last 9 games. We know that. I wanted to take a look more at his last 6 games, mainly because that's the divisional games that he's played in. And of course, that's probably, I think it's fair to say it's the best division in football, NFC North, by far. But his last 6 games, he's 136 for 211, which is 65.1% completion percentage, which is pretty damn good. 1,486 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 101.2 passer rating. And I think that right there, I don't think we've ever seen a quarterback, especially when you talk about Matt Eberflus was still coaching during this stretch, during those 6 games. I think 9 games ago was Shane Waldron was still involved. So it's like all these factors where he has had basically put on a platter for him to be, like he has a lot of excuses to fail, to have, a lot of interceptions or to lose focus. And you could see today, even when, after his second touchdown pass, the will to win, the way he plays is just so unique, because like I think you said it earlier, Ficky, where it's like he hasn't allowed this to really break his spirit. He's still fired up. He wants to win.